So Baby Shark was a real thing, and Shark's a real thing, just not on the Amica like it was supposed to be. So we're going to talk about Shark a little bit tonight on Bog Panda, and I'm Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And joining me, as always,
I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell us how much we're wrong. The Amico is still going to come out. It's going to wow everybody. And it'll be the physical system, and you won't be able to get the games on every other platform. Oh, wait. No, that's already not true.
right.
And you know what's a good way to dry your tears? On one of our t-shirts. So you should hit up the merch store, grab a couple of those. You're going to cry a lot. So you're going to need a couple. Then you're going to want to come back. And the best way to soothe that is to go listen to some Hard Nose. They're very short. It's the world's shortest podcast. That's been a double-blind peer-reviewed study has proven that.
By scientific USDA.
USDA.
Totally nailed
They
it.
checked us in places you guys don't even want to know about.
It's not pretty. Yeah, so we did an episode a little while back talking about folks love it when we talk about Amico. And
Not a controversial topic at all.
nope. And we were working to show more, trying to show more empathy for the folks that got caught up in this clown show of what's going on with it. But show we did recently, we talked about, it's kind of one of the kind of clearest indications that it's likely never to appear is some of the what were being advertised as in television Amico exclusive titles. Like about one of those words is still true. and it's not exclusive because they're working to put some of these that were being advertised as pack-in game for the Amico and all those types of things. They're now becoming available on other platforms. One of which got a little bit of attention. Some of the early Amico versions, video or commercials or videos or whatever, would have been Shark,
which I believe was intended to be the packet, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that was and so they showed game footage of it, people on their Amico using their Amico controllers playing Shark in the Amico box that they had designed to ship it in, all that good stuff. But not a lot of progress was made on the hardware side of the equation, but they have licensed out Shark, and while it's still in beta, there is going to be a PC version coming, and then likely other platforms as well. We've included a link to Slope's Game Room, who he through his connections and some things that he's been doing, actually got a chance to kind of interact with the beta copy of Shark, and he gives a really nice review of it. So definitely recommend. Link's going to be in the description for you to check that out and see some of the gameplay. But so the game itself is you're a little fish and you eat more fish and you get bigger, and it's avoiding any fish larger than you, as Qui-Gon Jinn recommends. And then eventually sharks and sometimes Terran and other large heron or other large birds will occasionally poke their face down in. Visually super cool looking game.
Yeah, the game actually looks really nice, which I do think is important to point out because once the Amico specs actually leaked, there was a lot of talk about how underpowered the system is. It was essentially like a previous generation or two cell phone in terms of power and what it could bring gaming wise. So this does, even though the system itself isn't much in terms of what's under the hood, this game does look really good.
Yeah, it does, and apparently the port is staying very much true to what was intended to be the Miko title, with one very notable exception, which I think is a huge one: online gameplay, so that you can, and according to the review, and those the ability to kind of either go head to head, where you're actually both playing at the same place, or do it online really increases the pace and the excitement of the game. And so it's gonna have an online gaming thing, so that who knows, at some point Bog Panda fans could be playing Mike and I and Shark Shark.
Not
So
on an Amico, of course, but
yeah, not on Amico. It'll be through Steam or PC or something like that. But so I think that was a really excellent feature. There were so there is another game out there called Feeding Frenzy, which is you're a little fish and you eat fish, become bigger, and strikingly similar in terms of concept to Shark Shark. But no large birds, I don't believe, in Feeding Frenzy. And it appears just as it's snappier gameplay, a little more excitement, a little more variety on things. I think 12 levels to it. It's what's intended to be. So it looks pretty cool. It'll be nice to see it kind of come out, and you can likely expect it on PC, pretty much Steam, Switch, some of that stuff as well. But it becomes, at least to my understanding, one of the first. Well, it definitely becomes the first Amico pack-in game to make its way out into other platforms. But I don't know how much the other stuff. I know they've started to sell the rights, but I don't know how much stuff's ready to hit market. And this hasn't hit market yet either. But
right, yeah, this was an advanced look at the game that he got and he's reviewing.
yeah, so but it looks cool. It looks like a fun one to play, and now we're starting to see what
what will never be.
Yep. And it'll be, and it was, and I forget if it was called the Karma gaming engine, but this was another of the many features no one will ever get with Amiga. Was the idea of, well, if you're playing your grandmother and she's not very good, the either the controller starts to give her feedback on how to find game secrets ahead of you, tries to even the playing field a little bit. And so they had the Karma engine to kind of say, if you had someone who's really an expert, someone who's really not, that the system itself would start to equalize things, so that became a more fair match, which I think is a creative idea, and is not present in Shark Shark.
Right.
That's a Mika exclusive offering, and
that's the part that's staying exclusive.
Yeah, that's good. That will mean that's still packed in with the empty box. So
yeah, which I can understand, because the Amico was definitely something that, like the Wii before it, was definitely targeting a broad audience of casual gamers.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it was targeting. and I still love the
unlike the
concept of
Wii, which came out.
What's that?
Unlike the Wii, though, which came out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I still love the controller concept. Still think it's a pretty fantastic idea. I don't know about the disc versus an analog joystick, but there's just seems so many features on kind of having a smartphone like game controller seemed to give you some pretty interesting options. So that would have been neat too, but you're gonna be able to play Shark Shark. So
yeah,
it
would have been cool. The real shame about it is it seemed like there were some good ideas with the Amico, and it would have been cool to see, as if it had come out, if it had done well and bigger developers started to get involved, like what could be possible on it. Because even though it was underpowered, like there's so many videos now talking about those sorts of things. Like, the original Intellivision, to stick with Intellivision, was actually like I believe it was 16-bit, making it as powerful technically as a Super Nintendo and a Genesis, but the graphics weren't even as good as Atari 2600. When you put them side by side, 2600 blew it away, and that was just stacks of blocks on top of each other, and that blew it away visually. So I mean, just having a certain processor in there, there's a lot more to it than that. It's the full chipset, what you can do with it, the speed and the memory and things like that. Like it's the whole thing. And that's, we've talked a lot about Atari Jaguar on here, for example. That does have a 64-bit processor in there. It also has two 32-bit processors, and unfortunately for them, a 16-bit processor, which is what they actually used to make most of the games for it. So it's really more, it's more than the sales pitch of the horsepower of the system. It's how good the actual games are in the end. So it is a shame because this does show there was the possibility for good games for this, even though it was a comparatively underpowered system compared to what's out there now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much else that goes in. I mean, certainly processing power is important and significant. Being able to push polygons around on the screen, all that good stuff. But audio, sound, how sound capabilities are done, what's the architecture to support a lot of that stuff, controllers, and most importantly, well done games. A well done game can make a system play well above its pay grade. So it's kind of, we've kind of talked about a lot before. It's kind of a bummer that excited to see what it could have been, kind of realizing it's probably never going to be. But again, Shark is coming.
Yeah. And I'm actually excited about this game. I'm a huge fan of the Jaws video games, or at least a few of them. There are many Jaws video games that have come out over the years, but I'm a pretty big fan of the ones that I've played. So I am excited for this because I like shark games. But for the original NES Jaws is excellent. There was also a Jaws mobile game that was excellent where you were actually Bruce the shark and you had to swim down, pop up, land on boats, and try and take out as many people as you could before you slid off the back of the boat. It's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, I like it. I have not played that, but that sounds pretty fun.
It's a really good game. And the original NES game, I love now. I hated it when I was a kid. The graphics, even for the time it came out, are pretty weak. And the game really didn't make a lot of sense. It was one of those movie tie-in games that just used the artwork and everything to sell the game and not explain it to you. So now that I understand the mechanics of the game, it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, and the sharks in Shark look more realistic than Bruce the shark in the original Jaws movie. So
yeah, that hasn't aged. Like, I like Jaws, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the movie, but the shark didn't age well. No. When you watch it now.
No, it didn't. But it's a fantastic movie. Super fun.
Yeah. Beloved musical Jaws.
Without a doubt. Cool. And so anything else to add, sir?
No, I'm actually excited for this game. It will, if the game is really good, it would, like we said, it'll be kind of bittersweet because it's kind of showing you what could have been, and let's be realistic, won't be. So, but at least we're going to get some of these games, and it looks like they're pretty decent. So,
but what will be is back. We'll be back in a future video. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.